Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't think I would get a video out, but I'll get one out just in case. I have my colonoscopy tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon, so I don't know when I'll be home. So I figured I would just get this out, and we will do that. But let's take a look at my lineup from tonight. Also, if you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make posts for NBA. These videos get posted on this subreddit right here. You can find my posts here. My username is Shook. Make updates with the news that comes out. You can talk strategy here. Ask me questions. I'll reply to you. Stuff like that. And then if you ever need to get a hold of me on Twitter, if you need to get a hold of me privately, you can do so on Twitter right here at Tori Langley 1992. All right, let's take a look at my lineup from tonight, and it was not a good night, unfortunately. Brunson had a letdown game. Josh Hart had a letdown game. Dylan Brooks wasn't good. Jordan Poole was good, but finished like 10 points below the cash line. The core that I had for today was Josh Hart. Like I said, he was 4.7x. Just not. It was all right. Giannis smashed, of course. Karis LeVert, another core play smash. Dylan Brooks, terrible. So I guess 2.75 on the core, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah, not a good night. And then Andrew Wiggins got into massive foul trouble. That just absolutely killed me. Very, very unfortunate there. But let's go over the Showdown slate. By the way, if Discord's something you're interested in, where I have in-depth content going over each slate, player pools, like for cash and tournaments, like if you 4 players to play and stuff like that. Private videos, you can ask me questions, talk strategy in Discord and stuff like that. It's a really great place to be. I'll have that linked down below. So, let's go over the slate. Let's go over Boston first. So, looking at the pricing, I mean, every optimizer here is going to absolutely want to jam in Jason Tatum, and I completely understand it. The floor plus ceiling combo on him is absolutely massive. I mean, you have to win this game here if you're Boston. I expect 40 plus minutes from him. Like I said, the floor is great, the ceiling even better. So Tatum does look very, very good at the top. You have Jaylen Brown at 9.4K. I do prefer Tatum to Brown personally. That doesn't mean Jaylen Brown's out of play for me. I think Jaylen Brown is also another very good play. I just prefer the floor and ceiling with Tatum as opposed to the lower floor with Jaylen Brown, but a similar ceiling. So I really like both the Boston guards. I would try to get to or both the Boston main guys. I would definitely try to get to one of them in your lineup. You should definitely not be fading both, in my opinion. I definitely would try to get to either one of them there. The Boston guards, it's just like it's tough. It's tough, right? I think Derek White's the safest. Like he's probably going to play over 30 minutes regardless. Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon. Smart, he's not going to play big minutes anyway. He got into a little bit of foul trouble the last 2 games. He's not going to play big minutes regardless, but I think we get around 30 to 33 for him. And then Malcolm Brogdon, it really depends. If he's playing very, very well, they could extend him, but I think we get mid-20, like low to mid-20s minutes for Brogdon. So here's what I'll say with the 3 guards. White's the safest, Smart's solid, and then Brogdon if you want ceiling and the cheapest price. It's tough because if Brogdon is going to be like low owned tomorrow and everyone's going to play Derek White and Marcus Smart, I'd much rather just play Malcolm Brogdon. I think they're all pretty similar. So for Showdown slates, it's very important to just be very contrarian because you don't want to dupe your lineup a lot. It's just minus EV to dupe. So what I will say, if you have ownership projections, I'd lean going with whoever's the lowest owned of the bunch. You guys have heard me say this in the past few videos with these guys, but I think all 3 look like solid plays. I think point per dollar right now without knowing ownership, Marcus Smart's probably my favorite. Al Horford at 6.4K I think is a very, very safe play. This game definitely an outlier. 5 blocks, 1 steal, but he's also they're going to trust him to play, I don't know, 35-ish minutes. Guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Now, my only issue here is Al Horford his production is very, very matchup dependent. And this matchup against Atlanta for Al Horford with Boston, how they are going to run their offense, it is absolutely horrid for Al Horford in scoring fantasy points. So that's the one thing I would be a little bit careful with. Like, if Al Horford is going to be popular tomorrow on this slate, I want none. I want none, because just the way Boston runs their offense in this matchup, it's absolutely terrible for Al Horford's production. So I think he's a very, very safe play. If he's low owned, I'm fine firing up Al Horford. Absolutely. But if he's going to be popular, I think it's pretty easy fade. But he does look good at that price. Robert Williams' minutes been up of late. I don't know if we continue to get mid-20s minutes from him. Like I said, if I knew Robert Williams is going to play 27, 29 minutes tomorrow, I'd 100% play him at 6K on the Showdowns. It's just too cheap. It's literally just too cheap if we're going to get close to 30 minutes for a 6K Robert Williams. So I think Robert Williams does look very good. Already went over the guards. I really like Brogdon. Discarding owners. You're probably going to see some Sam Hauser. I think we get around 10 minutes from him. A viable dart. I would definitely lean against going there. In my opinion, I don't think it'll be necessary, but he is playable if you do need that salary relief. And they're going to run a tight rotation, so really impossible to get to like anyone else. Like I don't think they're going to play Grant Williams 18 minutes again. He was DMP here, barely played here. So I don't think they'll be doing that again for tomorrow. Let's go over Atlanta. So same thing I said about Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I would 100% try to get to one of Trae Young, one of DeJounte. We'll go over captains and all that stuff after this, but I would definitely advise getting to one of Trae Young, one of DeJounte Murray. Now, given these price points, I actually prefer DeJounte Murray to Trae Young, as opposed to I prefer Tatum over Brown. I think just the difference in 2K, when DeJounte Murray still has a pretty high floor, and he doesn't have as high as a ceiling as Trae, but he does have a pretty high floor and a similar ceiling combo. He's also going to play around 40 minutes too. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. These two are just going to dominate usage. So I do prefer Murray to Trae point per dollar. I prefer Trae straight up if you have the money, but no contrarian take here. I love both. They both look great. DeAndre Hunter at 6'6" is tough. It's tough. Like, they're going to need his defense out there. He is going to play all the minutes that he can absolutely handle. Floor definitely low when he's not hitting his shots, but when he is hitting his shots, he does have this type of upside. So not out of play for me at 6'6". I think he's a very, very safe play, but a bit overpriced. Bogey, I do like quite a bit at 5'4". Now, DeJounte Murray's back, so you can't expect him to play 35 minutes again. But I think definitely a little bit concerning that he did get benched in this game and only played 19 minutes. I think normally we get around 25, 22, 25 for him. And he does have like 30 fantasy point upside at 5.4K. So I'm very, very, very interested in Bogey. The bigs, they're going to split the center minutes. I just prefer Capella. Now they're similar in price, so give me Capella. If you wanted to go to a Kongu for GPPs, I wouldn't hate you for it. I assume Capella is probably going to be massive, massive chalk on the slate at 5.2K. He's just too cheap. And I think normally we get close to 30 minutes from him. Some games they will close with a Kongu. There's definitely a risk there, so that's why I said if you want to go a Kongu over Capella, that's definitely in play. Definitely in play. I think the field tomorrow is going to land on Capella at 5.2K, and no one's going to go to a Kongu. So I think a Kongu is a good tournament play. I prefer Capella straight up. John Collins at 5K, I think we get 25 to 30 minutes from him. He's been god awful, but a fine option at this price point. Seems like a safe play to me. And then Sadiq Bet, 4-4. I think we get low 20s minutes from him. Sometimes he could close as well and could get extended. So I think in the worst case, he probably plays around 20 minutes, which makes him a perfectly reasonable value for salary relief. Not someone I'm going to go out of my way to jam in my lineup, but if I have like 4.4K left, absolutely, I'll play some Sadiq Bey. And then Jalen Johnson will round out the rotation. I think we get around 8 to 10 minutes from him. He's actually a really good point per minute guy. So 2.6K, you only need like, I don't know, 10 fantasy points. Could he go out there and get 10 fantasy points? Probably. He could. But a playable value, once again, kind of like Sadiq Bey. I obviously prefer Sadiq Bey to Jalen Johnson, but I'm not going to go out of my way to play either. So, going over captains. So, let's go over what I think are the optimal captains on this slate. So, I think the optimal captain is definitely going to be Jason Tatum. I could be wrong here. Optimizers could want to jam in like a DeJounte Murray or like a Jaylen Brown or a Trae Young for cheaper to fit in more guys, because optimizers obviously go with the highest projected fantasy score possible that's projected, so I could be wrong there. But in my personal opinion right now, I think Tatum would be your optimal captain. Other captains that I would consider, I think, like I said, Tatum, Trae, Brown, Murray are top 4 for me, captain-wise. If you wanted to go someone cheaper in the captain, who would be my favorite? And I think the answer to that would be Robert Williams at 6K. Just if he continues to get these minutes, he could absolutely save you a ton of money in the captain spot and blow the slate out of the water. And if it can allow you to fit like a Jaylen Brown with more of these guys, it's going to help your lineup out a ton. So if I were to go someone cheap in the captain, it would be Robert Williams. I think Bogey and Brogdon are definitely perfectly fine in the captain as well. Same thing I said about Robert Williams. Both have pretty high ceilings. Straight up, I definitely think Malcolm Brogdon's a much better play than Bogdanovich. So if you're going to go that route, I'd prefer Brogdon to Bogdanovich, but I think Robert Williams right now might be my favorite cheap captain. Capella, perfectly fine as well. You could make a case for Capella, Bogey, Brogdon, and Robert Williams in your captain spot, just to fit more studs. Now, anyone else I would consider? Pretty much everyone outside of like Hunter in this range, like above Capella. I think everyone's viable for me in the captain spot. Personally, I would lean going to like one of these top 4 guys, or going down to one of these bottom 4 guys. Don't think I want to go the route of having like White, Smart, Hunter, those guys in my captain spot, but completely viable as well. If you want to do that, that's completely fine. So I don't think it's necessary to like pump with the 1K guy. I don't think you need to do that with the pricing on the slate. You can probably easily fit 2 or 3 of these guys and then go down to these like mid-range plays. I think you'll definitely have enough money to do that. So I don't think you'll need to pump with one of these 1K guys. Don't think so. So I think that'll wrap it up for the video. I'll let you guys know how I do with my colonoscopy tomorrow. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.